So welcome to Yoga Pilates Fusion without pine needles. We are going to start laying down on our back, and then I'm going to start in kind of a variation of a fish pose. So a fish pose is if you took a cobra pose, right, and turned it upside down, that's what it would look like. So the heart is elevated, so there's a little bit of a back bend, and then usually the head is back behind you. So that's the only part I'm going to deviate from. Now you can do this with all kinds of different yoga props. So if you wanted to use a blanket, you could roll a blanket up, put it down sideways, and then when you lay over the blanket, your head will be lower than your heart. Your heart will be elevated over the blanket. You want the blanket kind of lined up right about where the shoulder blades are. You'll find the comfortable spot for it. So that's possibility number one. Possibility number two is to use either a pillow or a couple of yoga blocks, because you might want one to keep your head even. And if you use the yoga blocks, you can have your head the same height. You can let your head drop back if your neck is long enough that your head can comfortably rest on the floor. That is not true for me. So I like my head elevated, so I turn the block up. And then a pillow, any kind of pillow will do. This is specifically a yoga bolster. And this is a little mini yoga bolster, which if you wanted to get yourself some yoga props, but the cost is a little bit prohibitive. These are a little bit, these are under $30 on yogaaccessories.com. So they're pretty reasonably priced. You can also just use some throw pillows though. These are just firmer. So I'm gonna go with this one today because my head and my shoulders will be on the same plane, and it's a decent elevation. It's about the same as a yoga block. So once I lie down over this, I'm gonna try to position it so that the bottom of this pillow is about at the, just about an inch or so below the top or bottom tip of my shoulder blades. So that, if that helps, that's about where we want it. So we get this little elevation in the heart. And then you can also add elevation to your head if you want your head higher. Like for me, the fish pose part of this is letting my head just rest. Okay, so once I get into position with the shoulders, you have to decide what to do with your legs. So this is called constructive rest position, where you rest the feet on the floor with the knees in the air. It sort of looks like I'm going to go into bridge pose. Another variation on that is to widen the feet out, let the thighs rest in toward each other. For me, that causes a lot of muscle tension in my inner thighs, so even legs is better. You can also just stretch your legs all the way out, and that's what I'm going to do. That's a little closer to the fish. Okay, so the other aspect of the fish pose is kind of creating a little bit of a stretch or an opening around the chest. So to get that to happen, I'm going to let my arms go out to the side. And it usually takes me a couple seconds to sort of get my shoulder blades tucked in and to find the just right position with my arms. If any numbness or tingling happens in your fingers, there's a little nerve in your shoulder you're pinching, move your arms a little lower and see if that's better. And again, your head could be dropped back, but I'm going for level chin. And then the next task is to breathe nice and deep and try to get the rib cage to kind of flare a little bit with the pose. So we're just going to spend a little bit of time with this. just about another 30 seconds with this. Taking nice deep breaths. Nice big inhale, and then exhale out a big sigh, and then we're going to take ourselves off of this. So I'm going to do that by just rolling over to the side and sliding it out. Oh, that's the easiest way. And then coming back onto the back just to notice how that went. So depending on what I've had under my back, usually I get a feeling of my back sort of widening out. Because the fish pose, it was high, you know, I had the props positioned higher at my back for that pose, I still sort of feel like I'm in the little baby cobra shape. So my upper back is like still in a little bit of a back bend. So I'm going to massage that by reaching my arms up so my shoulder blade comes off to the side a little bit, and then just massaging that area right in between the shoulder blades by rocking against the floor. Sometimes the right side has got sticky spots, so going into that a little more. So you just kind of experiments here, finding the little places in your body that are needing of attention. Okay. Now within a few moments usually it kind of settles. So if yours hasn't settled yet, don't go anywhere right away. But if it has, we're going to do a big side stretch. So to do that, we're going to kind of curve ourselves over to one side, and then we'll slide the legs over the same way. So now we're sort of, if we looked at ourselves from above, we would sort of resemble a banana or maybe a tiny little crescent moon. So that's possibility number one. Now if your arms over your head is tricky, you can take them out more like a T or a cactus or down a little lower. Just find a comfortable place where your shoulders rest. And you don't have to have them all the way overhead. It's just comfortable for me sometimes. You could also, so I curved to the left, so now my right side is stretching. You want a little bit more. We're going to hold this for about 6 more breaths. You can cross that ankle over the left ankle, or vice versa if you went the other way. And then just breathe nice and deep into the sides. Try to keep both your hips and both your shoulder blades on the ground. Breaths. Okay, so we're going to come back to the center. And I'd like to take a moment just to notice, does anything feel different? And I would say that it feels just a little bit different on my right side. The shoulder feels a little closer to the ground. Just a little kind of pleasant warmth and like pleasant kind of light sensation to that side. So in between sides, I like to do a few little movements just to release any pressure that may have developed around my sacrum. And then we're going to do the other side. So if you're not quite ready, it feels like you need another moment, just take another breath or two. And then come into the shape on the other side. And again, you could cross the ankle over if you wanted to. And then just take nice deep breaths. Notice if you're carrying any tension like in between the eyebrows or around your mouth. You can let the face get a little bit more relaxed. exhale, just come on back. Oh. So again, notice. You can give yourself a little rinse in your sacrum if that feels nice. Oh. All right, yogis. Notice the kind of overall tone that you're experiencing. Does it feel pleasant? Is there anything that feels unpleasant? So we just want to be mindful and kind of learn from our practice. So we do a movement and we're like, oh, that wasn't so great. Then next time we try something a little different. So we're going to do some rolling bridge work. So with the feet on the ground, we're going to lift the hips and then come back down. We're going to try to come down as best you can, one vertebrae at a time. So start by snuggling your shoulder blades in, pretty good, nice and snug into your back. Get your feet in a position that feels like they're about hips distance apart or so. And there's no real pressure in your knees. So some people need their feet a little farther away. Some people can bring their feet in so close they can catch hold of the ankles with their hands. So that's up to you. I do this little robot arm thing because it allows me to kind of press my upper arms nice and firm into the floor. If I try to do that with my arms straight, my elbows get kind of in the way. I've got a weird carrying angle to my elbows. So I'm gonna scoop up my tailbone, take my hips as high as they'll go, press down, and then I'm gonna pause. I like to take my toes off the ground so I have a little bit more mobility, and then roll down one vertebrae at a time, as slow as you can. Try to feel each vertebrae heavy onto the floor. Get heavy. All right, so for me, the muscle and tissue on my back touches the ground before the bones do, but I can feel the bone get heavy against the ground, and that's what we're after. So as soon as your pelvis hits the ground, you feel your sacrum touch down, you can just go back to that neutral low back, okay? So we're gonna try that 4 more times. Lift. And you don't have to do the toes. You can come up onto your tiptoes if that's better, and then roll down and try to feel each vertebrae. And notice too if there's places in your back that feel sticky, like the muscle doesn't let the bone move so independently. Because oftentimes we can get muscles in the back that are pretty resistant to this idea. So once you're all the way down, you can lift yourself up again. I like to take a big breath at the top and then kind of linger the exhale as I slide down. If you go super slow, you might need an extra breath in the middle. Okay, so I've got 2 more to go. We're going to do a total of 5. And you might be a little bit on the draw than I am, or on the down low, on the down slope. It's okay too. I really try to get really in touch with feeling these bones come down one at a time. There's a spot just before my lumbar curve where it's hard for me to feel that. That's why the toes are helpful, because I can try to get a little bit more sensitivity there to lift my toes up. It makes me a little more mobile. So the other thing is that when we articulate the spine and we're able to try to move the bones individually, we're working on really deep core stabilizer muscles in the spine itself. So there is a benefit to this really concentrated work, even if it seems kind of ridiculous to go slow. All right, now that's the, right there, that's the end of my 5th one, so I'm gonna do a little windshield wiper moves and just let myself kind of rinse out my legs. Whew. Sometimes the hamstrings get a grip. I get a little grippy in that pose. So I'm gonna leave my left leg all the way straight. I'm gonna bring my right leg in, give it a little bit of a hug. And with that little hug, I'm gonna spin my ankle so we get a little footwork here. So my foot is, make it like a circular shape. Go the other direction after a bit. Usually for, if I just want to get a little movement going, I do at least 6 or so of these, and right now I'm going for warmth, so I'm doing about 10 to 12 of them. I don't know, I'm not counting. But about that length of time. And then pointing and flexing. And then with this, I'm trying to get my toes to move and see if I can also get a little movement in the bones in the middle of my foot. So, so now we're gonna do a little hamstring stretching. So I have fairly loose hamstrings and fairly tight calves. So they let me kind of mostly straighten out the leg, but this may not be true for you. And so if that's the case, you can let go of the leg or just hold on to the knee, and you can also not straighten the leg all the way out, okay? So we're gonna take the heel, kind of press it away. As soon as you feel like that's enough, you pause, and then bring it back in. You can give it a little hug, press the heel away, and then give it a little hug. And then just one more time, like that. All right, so we're gonna leave the leg up, and we're gonna do a little twisting up towards the leg. I'm gonna put my hands behind my head. You could hold a yoga block between your hands, or you can go, one hand can come up and the other hand can help support your head. So when you put hands behind your head, you wanna press your head back into your hands a little bit so that you're feeling a little bit of a connection and the neck is nicely stabilized, because we really wanna do this work from the abdominals, not from pulling on the head. So press your head back. You're gonna take this left shoulder up towards that right pinky toe. Come on back down. Exhale, come up. Inhale down. Exhale up. Inhale down. Reach through the leg. And if you want to add on to this, you can lift your leg a little bit off the ground. I'm going to try to do 5 more. Keep the neck nice and stable. Okay, so I've got one more. All right, so I'm going to put my head down. I'm going to energize this left leg, put it back down on the floor if you've had it up. Take your arms and press them down into the ground. And again, if you're like me, it might be helpful if you have a slight bend at the elbow. I put my little fingertips on the ground. We're going to take the leg across the body, sweep a circle out and around, accommodating whatever furnishings you've got in your house. Try not to move from the waist or the hips. Squeeze the sides of your waist in, nice and tight. When you get to the top, pause there. We're going to go out to the side, sweep that leg down to meet its friend, come straight up the middle. Keep this side turned on. Keep drawing the sides of your waist in. Keep your body as stable as you can. One more time. Beautiful. Bring that knee in, and then put the foot on the ground. Bring the other leg up so you've got both feet on the ground. Do a little side to side with the legs. This time let your hips go with you. It feels nice. All right. Straighten out both legs. Just pausing for a moment, see if you can feel a difference between the right side and the left side. All right, the good news is we have another side to go. So we're gonna bring the left leg in, give it a bit of a hug. And again, working with the ankle, just turning your foot in some circular shapes. Go the other direction after a bit. See if you can get the toes and even the little bones in the center of the foot moving as well. So just loosening up all those muscles that help support the arches of the feet. Okay, so then we're going to go into that hamstring stretch. And again, maybe the leg only straightens out a little bit before it's done. Feel that out nice and careful. And each side might be a little different. Hug it in. I like to inhale and stretch it, exhale and pull it in. Inhale, stretch it out. And exhale, pull it in. One more time. And then we're gonna let go of the leg, keep it stationed up. Turn this right leg on a little bit so the toes point up. You can also lift that. And again, you can do the hands behind the head or just the one. Press your head back. Grow from the abdominals. Really try to squeeze in through the side waist as you come on up here. Keep your head pressing back. Three more. If that leg was lifted, we're going to take that back down to the ground. Snuggle your shoulder blades in. Leg's going to go across the body, coming out in a circle. Hug the sides of the waist in. Try to hold that pelvis nice and steady. And when you get to the top, we're going to pause, go out to the side, come down to the front, and then back up. Really hug in through the side of your waist, especially as that leg goes out. Try to maintain control there. Last one. All right, bring that leg in, foot on the ground, opposite leg on the ground. Give yourself a little bit of a rinse. Feels good. All right, yogis. So we're gonna do a double straight leg stretch. Also, some people refer to this as scissors. So the legs moves kind of past each other the way two blades of scissors kind of open and close. I'm not sure which name is really the best name. You can decide what you want to call it. So we're gonna take the head up off the ground. So because of that, if you tend to do that with your neck muscles instead of with the abdominal muscles, that's what that looks like. So neck. See how my chin gets closer to my chest? Abdominals, chin maintains that relationship, right? So, but if that's tricky, then you can put your hands behind your head and you'll just curl up as the legs move past each other. If you want, you can reach up and grab hold of the leg instead, okay? I'm gonna do it with the head support. So first, we're gonna establish that lift. So we're gonna curl up, press the head back, make sure the chin has about the same amount of space from the breastbone as it had before. I'm going to take the legs, lift them both up. So I've got two legs straight, and then one leg is going to go away from me, and I'm going to curl up toward the leg that's closer to me. Leg away, curl up. So reaching out through both legs, curl up, curl up, curl up, curl up. So reaching, get that little extra bit of lift. The abs are working the whole time. We're just trying to give them that little bit extra. If you can get a little bit more lift off the floor, give yourself that little extra bit of lift. All right. One more set. And then we're going to come back. Now, knees are in, shoulder blades curl up. Same thing is going to happen, but I'm going to keep the body now stable as I move out. Again, maybe I use my neck more than I should, so my hands stay behind my head and I just extend out the legs, or maybe extending out the arms is okay as long as I've got that little touchstone to remind my neck to relax. So that's up to you, which direction you do, or which arm movement, hand movement you go with. Extend, try to keep your shoulders a consistent amount off the floor and keep your low back nice and stable. We got two more. Good. So now I'm going to put my head back down on the floor. You could maintain that little basket with your head. We're going to take the legs up. Ooh, give them a little shake. Glue them together. We're going to lower down. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Come on back. Now, when we're holding, you want to squeeze your abdominal muscles in. Squeeze in from the sides. Draw that low belly back in nice and tight, right? All right, let's try again. 4, 3, 2, 1. Draw everything in. 3, 2, 1. Come on back. Ooh, shake it off. Okay, here we go. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Come on back. Ooh. Lower down. 4, 3, 2, 1. Squeeze. 4, 3, 2, 1. Come on back. Ooh, yogis, we got 2 more. Here we go. 4, 3, 2, 1. Squeeze. 4, 3, 2, 1. Come on back. It's the last one. We can do this. Gather your courage. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. 4, 3, 2, 1. Come on back. Whew. All right. Put the legs back down. Give yourself a rinse. All right, yogis. So we're going to flip over onto our belly. So you can do that however you want. I'm just going to roll this way and then recenter myself. Now, initially, this might feel a little crazy. So we're going to go gentle. Hands up close to the top of the shoulder. Reach back through your legs. Little baby cobra. Come on, back down. So don't push with the arms, lift with your back, okay? Baby cobra. Come on, back down. Slide your hands back just a notch. Baby cobra. Inhale, baby cobra. All right, slide your hands back another notch. Baby cobra. Yep, one more. Baby cobra. Good. We're going to come back to a child's pose. We're giving ourselves a little wobble. All right. Now we're going to do a little shoulder stretch. And the idea with the shoulder stretch is that we're going to use the resistance of the floor to kind of give a little bit of space up underneath the shoulder blade. So for some of us, we might need to have the hips a little more forward, and some people might want their hips almost all the way back like they have them in child's pose, okay? So I'm going to take one arm. In this case, I'm going to put my left arm under first, and then I'm going to find the position that so my head doesn't feel like it's weighted, and I've got just the right amount of space. Now, I use the floor to kind of push myself back into that twisty stretch under my shoulder blade, but you can just as easily rest or wrap that arm behind your back, okay? Whichever's the right answer for you. Make sure your head and neck is not being weighted. That should be just resting on the floor easy. And then you can kind of push backwards into the stretch if it feels okay. Take a few more breaths here. One more. Now, this arm that's under me, I'm going to take all the way out and stick it up front. And then the other leg on the other side, so this is my left arm, right leg, are going to go out in a nice big spinal balance. Hug in through the sides of your waist. Reach between those two limbs. We're going to hug the knee and the elbow in together. If that's too much, put the hand down, just do the knee. Curl in, reach out, curl in. Reach out. One more time. Curl in. Reach out. Now put both hands down if you haven't already. Bring that right leg all the way forward, or whatever leg it was. And then we're going to pause here with this lunge. Okay. Now, if there's a little feeling of stretch on the front of your hip, cool. If there's too much, back off a little bit. And then we're going to go in just a little bit deeper, so that's why we want to start in a place that's not too much. And then back off. And then travel in a little bit deeper. And then back off. And then one more time, travel in, just see like where's the edge. And then back off, and we're going to go all the way over this front leg for the hamstring stretch. Back off and come back in. I like to come around to the inside edge so I get the inside part of the hamstrings a little bit. All right, take one take that leg back where it came from and put that guy down. So we're going back into the child's pose. So I'm going to take the knees out a little wide. And again, maybe your hips are going to go forward at the child's pose point. And then shoulder stretch. And you decide how much intensity you want to add to it, how much you want to kind of pull into the stretch, or just relax. Both are good, just a choice. And then you can move the hips a little bit to adjust for the low back. Take nice deep breaths. Okay, we got one more big breath. So again, this right arm, this is my right arm, so that guy's coming out, and it's gonna be the one that goes up front. I'm gonna get myself kind of oriented, and then hopefully everything will work. Reach out nice and long. Hold steady with that spinal balance for a moment. Hug in through the sides of your waist. Beautiful. Now you can do elbow and knee, and stretch out, or again, you can put the hand down and just work with your knee. Extend out, curl in, extend out, curl in, extend out, curl in, and then stretch out, hands down, and then bring that leg all the way forward, okay? So again, we're gonna find our way into a lunge. You're just feeling for like, where's the right amount? So let's just feel that. Got a little bit of room to move. So we're gonna back off a notch and then move forward into the lunge. And back off, and you're gonna get feedback on the muscle and the tissue right in this area in the front of the hip. So pay attention and try to go just to the point where it's like, that's enough. So we're coming in and backing off. And we're coming in and backing off. We're gonna do it one more time. So we're gonna go in, to whatever version of the edge feels right. And then we're gonna back off and fold over the leg. And again, you can do this little same thing, kind of in and out, or you can just hold the stretch if it's right for you. So I'm gonna do a couple more of those, a little more to the inside, so I get a little more into that little inside hamstring area. All right, yogis, so we're gonna take that leg all the way back where it came from, and give it a little shake. And then we'll take just a moment. Now, if downward dog is not your jam, you have two options. You can stay with this all fours position and maybe do some little cat shapes and things like that. Or you can come to a standing forward bending kind of position, keeping your head about level with your hips. Upside down is not right for everybody. So if upside down is okay with you, you're gonna tuck your toes and take your hips up and come into down dog. And then from there, move around a little bit, get the shoulders a little bit lubricated by moving them up and down and hugging them in. Get your backs of your legs a little bit more. Now for me, this is all about calf muscles, because we've done a little hamstring work. So giving my calf muscles that chance to kind of really get into the stretch. Little hips. There will come a point where you're sort of done with this, and then you just walk it together. Okay. Now, once you get to the forward bending state, we're going to come up halfway. Exhale, give it a little fold. You can shake things out a little. And then we're going to come all the way up to standing. Give a nice big stretch. Give everything a bit of a jiggle. All right, now I'm gonna turn around because this side is a little bit more friendly for me. For mountain pose, there's stuff to stare at. So we're gonna find our way into a mountain pose. So the toes point forward. Relax the shoulders a moment. If it feels better to you to turn the arms out, okay. I like to just let mine relax. So find that you're not locked out in your knees, a little bit connected to your core, standing nice and tall. Feel the pose itself, just as anything, sort of calling your awareness in your body. And take a big breath. Now you can lift the arms up either out sideways or just straight up the middle. We're gonna exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, fold. We're gonna step back into that down dog, or if you wanna skip the down dog, you can either go directly to the knees to add the cobra in, or just stay here and you'll step back into the standing pose once we get there, okay? So taking it back, coming into a plank. You can do a full plank or you can modify that plank. Really draw in the navel and the sides of the waist. Hold steady here for one more breath. And then we're gonna lower down by bending at the elbow. Try to keep everything nice and stable. Inhale, come into either cobra, or you can do an upward dog here. Take it back to down dog through that plank. Now take a nice big breath, lift your right leg up behind you. As you exhale, curl that knee in, round up. Inhale, stretch it back again. Exhale, curl it in. One more time, stretch that leg back. Pause for a second, sink into your left heel. And then we're gonna step the right foot forward. Now, we're gonna swing the left heel to the ground so we come up to warrior one. If you're still at the top of your mat, step back with your left foot and you'll be in the same position. So warrior one, the heel rests on the floor. The back foot is turned at some kind of an angle. Everybody's ankle is different. Some people can almost face their toes forward and still get their heel to the ground, but most of us are gonna be on an angle. Let the hip follow that angle. Turn your rib cage forward. Press the legs away from the center line, so front leg is going forward, back leg is going back. And then we're gonna take the arms up and give it a really long stretch. And then stretching out the spine, we're gonna come forward. Once you get to the point where you're running into your thigh, drop your arms, let everything be soft, roll up one vertebrae at a time. So we're gonna try to repeat that sensation from the bridge, except now coming up rather than going down, okay? Nice big stretch. Stretch the spine forward. Roll yourself up. I love to do this with my eyes closed, but it makes me wobbly. So you can do it your way. Nice big long spine stretch out. And then we're gonna roll it up. All right, now we're gonna pause here and give ourselves a little moment to stretch out the hamstrings one more time. Again, I'm gonna go more for calf muscles. Keep my front leg a little bit bent. So we're gonna fold forward. If you don't reach the floor and you've got some yoga blocks, grab those. If you don't worry about it. Just bend your knee or hold onto your shin. Now the back foot, I'm spinning all the way around and then I'm gonna press down into that heel so that I get my calf muscles in a nice stretch. Time has flown today, y'all. So we're gonna take this into a balancing pose now. I'm gonna take my left leg all the way up off the ground and I'm gonna stand on my right leg as best I can. If you can do it, let go of the floor and hold on to your right shin. If that's too crazy, hold on to the floor. If you lose your balance, catch, okay? So catch with your legs as best you can. Whee! One more time, reach. Me and this plant have thoughts. Bring that knee in nice and tight, put the foot down beside the other. Inhale up halfway. Exhale, fold over. And then we're gonna come up all the way to standing. Give it a big stretch. Oh. And come back to mountain pose. there a difference between your right side and your left side? Sometimes. Nice big breath, reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, fold. We're going to step back into dog or stay right there. Coming forward into your plank. Holding the full plank steady or the modified plank steady. 2 more breaths. Excellent. Lower down. We're going to come into a locust. So first slide your hands back to about where your waist is. Lift the chest like you're coming into cobra. And then lift the legs. However high they're willing to go. If I overdo the low legs, I always feel it in my low back. So I do a little more in the front. Last big breath. Good. Come on down. We're going to go back to that downward dog. Take the left leg up. Bring it in. Take it back. Bring it in. Take it back. Oh, bring it in. Step it forward. Come to warrior 1. All right, again, hip goes with the leg, rib cage independently, turns forward. Arms come up, stretch your spine out, roll it up. If it feels better, you can stretch to the diagonal. Stretch your spine, roll up. One more time, stretch. Roll up. Okay, so I'm spinning all the way around, keeping my front leg a little bent, going for this stretch. Again, for you, it might be all about hamstrings. For me, I'm keeping the hamstrings a little soft and really pressing down into my right heel, so I get my tight spots. Nice big breath. All right, we're going to bend the knee and step ourselves back into down dog. You can come right down to the floor if you like, instead of hanging out with that dog. You can hang out with a plank if you want. All right, so we're going to do some rolling cobras. Hands near the shoulders, legs pressed down, lift. Come on back. Hands back, lift. Come on back. Hands back, lift. Come on back. One more time, hands back, lift. Pull the elbows wide. And then come on back down. Take your right arm up. We're going to roll onto the right side. I'm going to make sure I'm not going to hit a plant. Now, stack the hips, stack the shoulders, draw in through the sides of the waist. You're trying to pick the left or the side waist up off the bottom. So that's my right side. This is the left leg. We're going to point the toes, separate the feet or the toes so the heels are touching. Lift the leg. So that gives me an external rotation. We're going to circle that leg, trying to hold steady through the torso. Hug in the sides of your waist. You can do a little circle or a big one, just control it. Feel the muscles in the outer hip that are helping you do that. If you need more structure, put your hand in front. Beautiful, 2 more. Last one. Now pause right there. We're going to turn the leg the other way so the toes get closer together, heels are apart. That's an internal rotation. And now we're going to try to circle the leg, maintaining that internal rotation. Try to hold steady. Can you feel a little bit different muscles working? 3 more, 2 more, last one. Come on back together. So we're trying to get a little bit of action in this outer hip. We're going to do one more piece for that. This is my favorite because it moves us through those same rotations. Open the knees, kick out the top leg, bring it together, close it up. So your toes are touching, knees are touching, and they're on the floor, feet are behind you in the air. Kick it out. Now if that kick is too much, if it hurts your knee, Don't kick, just hold and then come back, okay? Extend or hold, then come back. We got 4 more to go. 3 more. 2. 1 more. Beautiful. So then you're going to straighten out the legs, take the top leg over. You can put the foot on the ground or leave the leg out straight. I like the foot on the ground. Now get your hips and shoulders as even as you can. Lift up the bottom leg, lift that bottom side waist, pulse it up. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now hold there and make a circle with that bottom leg. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Circle the other direction. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift the leg a little higher. Pulse it again. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now put that leg down. Pause for a moment. Take both legs out straight. We're going to roll onto the back. Oh, I'm going to sit myself up though. So you can start from back down or you can start from here. We're going to take a little boat pose. So we're going to bring the knees in, give ourselves a little bit of a lift, and then we're going to try to pulse this boat pose using the abs. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right? We're going to do the other side. So take yourself onto your left arm. Stack the hips, stack the shoulders, toes separated, heels together, and then lift the leg and hugging in through your side waist. Circle that leg, try to hold steady here. Two more. Now pause. So the toes are going to come together, the heels are going to go wide, getting an internal rotation. Hold that internal rotation and try circling that leg. Two more. One more. Bring the toes together so the heels are together, toes are touching. Bring the feet behind you. Lift them up a little higher if you can so you get that really good turn. Hug in through the sides of the waist. Try to hold steady. Knees open, leg extends, then close, extend, toes touch, knees close. And again, you can just hold here instead of extending. Toes touch, knees closed, okay? So treat your knee well. We got 4 more to go. Two more. One more. So when you're done there, we're going to straighten out the legs. Take that top leg over. Position it so it's right for you. Lift your bottom leg. Lift the bottom side waist. And then pulsing up 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold there, make a circle. 5, 4, 3, 2. Lift that side waist. 1. Other direction. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lift it a little higher. Right there. Pulse. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop that leg. We're going to roll onto the back. You might have to give yourself a little tiny bit of room. All right, so this boat starts out nice and low. So first, just give yourself a moment. You can leave the knees bent, feet resting on the floor, curl the shoulder blades up and hold that steady. You can extend the legs, curl up. Now you're gonna hug that low belly in and hug in the sides of the waist, maybe elevate the legs. Okay, hold and steady for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, hug in, 2, 1. Good. Come on back down. Give yourself a little rinse, yogis. We're gonna do a twist and a little pigeon. So first, stick one leg up on top of the other. That might be plenty. If you want to, you can pull the legs in towards you and hold on to them. Give yourself a little back massage while you're at it, and take nice deep breaths. So hopefully we're getting a nice stretch on that outer hip we just tortured. I hope anyway. Now you can hold onto the leg, flex the foot, and then extend that bottom leg. So this is my right leg. Left leg was the one I was holding up with. If I extend that out, I get a little stretch on the top of my hip flexor as I reach that leg away from me. Just be mindful of your knees. Sometimes we can accidentally torque this leg. We're going to take 2 more breaths. Now, bringing that leg back in, I'm going to take the legs over. So they're going to the left because I want to do whatever leg's on the bottom. Then I'm going to reach out through my right arm. I've got to stretch around my right hip and through my right chest muscle. That's what I'm after. You can turn the head towards the knees or the opposite direction. I'm going to go for opposite today. You can try to get the side waist a little bit longer, kind of create more space right there, just with your muscles. Take nice deep breaths. One more big breath, yogis. And then we're going to come on back to the center line. Give yourself a moment just to rinse that out a little bit. See where it took you. All right, so we're going to do the other side. So we're going to pop. So in this case, my left leg is going to go up on top. That could be plenty. Maybe you bring the knees in. I'm going to do that for a little bit, and then I'll extend the leg. You can start with whichever version of this reclining pigeon you want. We'll call it pigeon on holiday. Somewhere around here is that cabana boy. Where is that cabana boy? I know, I don't have one either. We're going to take a few more breaths. Again, I'm going to hang on to my leg and stretch the right leg out so I can get that little bit of extra hip flexor love. One more big breath. And then we're going to bring the legs over to the side. So I'm going to my right side. I'm going to shimmy. You can add props if you need a little extra love. And then again, you can make a little bit of room right there along your side waist. Kind of elevate the armpit up a little bit. Let the hip fall down a little bit. Maybe you turn the head away from, maybe you turn it into the twist. Don't forget to breathe, whichever version you're doing. Hey, sugar plum, how are ya? Hey there. Two more breaths. All right, we're going to come on back to the middle. Now, yogis, we're going to stretch out for a moment and do a little shavasana. I know that you might be tempted to go away. Some of you already have. But this is the most important pose, y'all. This pose right here. We're going to take ourselves into this relaxation pose. Why? Because our nervous systems are being put through the ringer right now, y'all. And we need to give our parasympathetic nervous system some extra love. That's what this pose is all about. So we're going to let the body relax. Okay, so that's the first part. The second part is we're going to pay attention to what it feels like right now, just to be alive in a human body. This human body, the one you're in. So you're feeling the kind of feedback that the body is giving you from the practice today. Okay, so that the nerves that send information from the body to the brain are the same nerves that help us relax. So when we pay attention, what's going on with the left side? What's going on with the right side? We're actually reinforcing those neural pathways, okay? And then we're gonna let the physical body, the muscles relax, especially in the face. Again, facial muscles are deeply connected to the parasympathetic nervous system. So relax your mouth and your jaw and your eyes. This is important work we're doing here, yogis. Just as important as the physical muscle practice is the practice of toning our nervous system. An awareness of your breath. And just feel the body take the next inhale. And let the exhale just fall out. And wiggle your fingers and toes. Spread apart. Give them a wiggle again. And then you can also do the wrist and ankles while you're at it. Give yourself a full body stretch. Maybe some little windshield wipers. We're gonna roll onto our side and prop ourselves up. And we'll take a moment to say goodbye to each other. For those of you that hung with me all the way through Shavasana, good for you. Take a big breath. Big sigh. Namaste, yogis.